Level 1. You still check your bank app in the dark. The screen lights up your face at 1:13 a.m. Your balance is $842.17, and that number decides the shape of your next week. You become careful in a way that looks like discipline from the outside, but it is not discipline, it is fear with a clean shirt on. You say no to dinner because you already know the bill will sit on the table like a test you did not study for. You notice the smell of coffee in the office and wonder how some people can waste $6 before 9 a.m. You start judging small choices because small choices are all you can afford to make. And this is where the first change begins. Not in your account, in your attention. You stop thinking about what you want. You start thinking about what will not break you. A flat tire, a dentist visit, a delayed paycheck, a message from your landlord with no smile in it. Your personality hardens around those possibilities. You become quieter, more alert, less generous with your time, because time feels like a luxury item now. And the strange part is this: you think this is your real personality, but it is mostly financial pressure teaching you how to move. What happens when the pressure disappears? That version of you is still in there, just waiting for a different number. Level 2. Now you make enough to breathe, not enough to relax, just enough to stop checking your balance before each purchase. You get the first taste of control. It feels clean, almost private. You notice yourself saying yes more often. A better restaurant, a last-minute trip, a new jacket that fits too well to be practical. You tell yourself it's a reward, but what you really feel is permission. And permission changes people faster than money does, because once you can afford the thing, you start believing you deserved it all along. That's when your voice changes. Not loudly, just enough. You speak a little slower in meetings. You stop over-explaining. You let people wait a second longer for your answer. You're not trying to dominate the room. You just no longer feel small inside it. That feels good. Then it feels dangerous. Because the moment you get used to comfort, patience starts to disappear. You become less tolerant of slow service, less forgiving of confusion, less patient with people who still live inside the panic you escaped. You don't call it arrogance, you call it standards. But standards can also be armor, and armor always changes the way you treat hands reaching towards you. What you don't notice yet is that money is not making you happier, it's making you harder to surprise.
Level 3. Now the bills are automated, the groceries are regular, the rent is survivable, and your life becomes more dangerous in a quieter way. Because once survival is no longer loud, ego gets room to speak. You start buying things that explain you to strangers. A watch, a car, a bag, a place with better lighting. You say these things are about quality. Sometimes they are. But sometimes they are just proof. Proof that the old version of you was not the final version. Proof that nobody gets to speak to you the same way twice. You begin to notice social shifts. Certain people become warmer. Certain people become more polite. A few people become strangely interested in your opinion. And deep down, you feel it. The world is not only responding to your character, it is responding to your signal. That is a brutal lesson. Because once you see how people treat money, you cannot fully trust their affection. You become a better judge of motives, and also a lonelier one. You stop telling everyone what is going well, not because you're humble, because you learned how fast attention turns into expectation. A strange thing happens here. You start protecting your peace, but what you're really protecting is access. Access to your time, access to your name, access to the version of you that still says yes too easily. And once you realize people want a piece of your life, you become selective in a way that looks cold. But the coldness is not the point. The point is that money teaches you how expensive trust becomes. What happens when your circle starts to notice the change before you do? Level 4. Now you own enough to be known differently. Not famous, not rich in the way people imagine, just visible. Your calendar fills with names you didn't know last year. People return your calls faster. People have been meaning to reach out. People remember your birthday with surprising accuracy. You begin to understand a humiliating truth. Money doesn't only change what you can buy, it changes how often people think of you. That affects your personality more than you expect. You become more strategic in conversation. You listen for leverage. You hear requests inside compliments. You start scanning for the exit in every room, because every room now contains a transaction hiding somewhere inside it. This is when your confidence starts to look like distance. You stop asking for approval. You stop chasing the room. You stop explaining why you chose the life you chose. That feels like maturity, and sometimes it is. But sometimes it's also loneliness with better lighting. Because once you can afford to be misunderstood, you often are. You notice your face in mirrors differently now. Not prettier, not older, just more edited. The expression is controlled. The shoulders are looser. The eyes are less apologetic. You tell yourself you've become more secure. Maybe. Or maybe you've simply learned that most people only trust the version of you that costs them less. And then comes the first real fracture. You catch yourself enjoying distance. Why would that matter? Because people who have been hurt too many times eventually mistake isolation for wisdom.
Level 5. Now the money is enough to change your options. You can leave. You can hire. You can replace. You can disappear from situations that once owned you. This is where personality bends in a way nobody warns you about. You become less patient with chaos, not because you are cruel, because you know what order costs. You start expecting competence. A late reply annoys you. A sloppy plan offends you. A wasted afternoon feels personal. People call this becoming demanding, but from your side, it feels like clarity. You have seen how expensive indecision is. You have paid for bad habits in money, in time, in sleep. So now you cut faster, you choose faster, you trust slower. And yes, that makes you more effective. It also makes you less soft. That softness used to live in the part of you that could not afford to be sharp. Now that part is fading. You are more certain, more private, less available. It should feel like victory. Instead, sometimes it feels like something in you has gone missing. Because money does not only remove pain, it removes the need for certain kinds of empathy. And once your pain gets quieter, your tolerance for other people's pain often shrinks with it. That's the part nobody puts on a luxury brochure. At some point, you realize you're not only spending money, you're spending the emotional version of yourself. What price did you pay to stop being easy to shake? Level 6. Now your net worth is high enough that the room behaves differently before you even speak. People assume you're busy. People assume you know things. People assume your judgment is worth more than theirs. And slowly, dangerously, you begin to believe them, not all at once, just in small ways. A little more certainty here, a little less doubt there, a little more distance from people who remind you of who you used to be. This is how money shapes identity at the highest level. It doesn't just give you more, it makes your preferences feel like facts. Your taste hardens into identity. Your habits become your brand. Your boundaries become your personality. You stop asking, is this good for me? You start asking, does this fit the life I built? That sounds mature. It can be. It can also be a cage made of polished decisions. Because now every mistake costs more. Every betrayal lands harder. Every person who comes close gets measured against the invisible standard you built while trying to not be vulnerable. You are harder to impress, harder to manipulate, harder to help. And maybe that's the real trade. You bought freedom from other people's control, but part of the price was access to your own softness. The cold fact is this: the richer you get, the less often anyone sees you uncertain. And when nobody sees your uncertainty, it starts to feel like you don't have any. Level 7. Now you are the person other people describe with a little envy in their voice. They say you are calm, disciplined, hard to read. They say you changed. They are right, but not in the way they think. You are not richer and therefore better. You are not wealthier and therefore wiser. You are simply more adapted to a different environment. At $28,000, you were a person shaped by stress. At $280,000, you were a person shaped by choice. At $2.8 million, you are a person shaped by consequence. That final version of you is not automatically kinder, not automatically lonelier, not automatically free, just different. The dangerous part is that money changes personality so slowly, you mistake it for growth. You think you became more confident. Sometimes you did. You think you became more selective. Sometimes you did. You think you became more grounded. Sometimes you just became harder to reach. And now the mirror has a different job. It no longer shows you what you look like. It shows you what you have become able to survive. The question is not whether money changed you. It did. The question is whether the version of you staring back is still someone you would recognize before the numbers changed. Or did the money teach you to admire a stranger?